And that's the thing. I say that we've got a choice right now. Like there's still so many people freaking out because basically the sky's the limit. Like if you can imagine it with AI, it can probably happen, right? And so that's where a lot of people are freaking out, going, "Oh, I won't even have a job, and I won't have this." And the thing is isn't the first time a new technology has come in to the world. People freaked out over electricity at one point. So think about it that way. We have a choice of how we embrace it.
Welcome to Future Fit Leadership, a podcast for emerging, experienced and executive leaders to build community, grow capability and future focus their career pathways. There has been a global shift in how we lead, and our conversations with leaders and executives explores the skills, strategies and mindsets that is needed to thrive in this ever-evolving landscape of the future. So whether you are a seasoned executive, an aspiring leader, or simply curious about the future of leadership, we are here to give you practical insights to unlock your potential, change the status quo, and break open our assumptions on how work works. Produced in partnership with Future Leadership, a capability ecosystem for boards and executives, Future Fit Leadership is your place for bite-sized learning for executives hungry to make a change. Hello and welcome to Future Fit Leadership. I'm your host, Sadhna Smiles, and I hope wherever you are listening to this podcast, you are well. Today, we are diving into a topic that's transforming how we work, think and lead, artificial intelligence and specifically ChatGPT. Now, I remember when ChatGPT first came onto the scene in November 2022, and like the rest of the millions around the world, I too was hooked. I spent half the night experimenting with different prompts, asking it just about everything I could under the sun until it actually told me that I had overused my time. I was amazed at how the chatbot could quickly spit out responses. ChatGPT has gone on to be a game changer to the extent that Hollywood writers spent significant time on strike, impacting many of our favourite shows. AI will have a direct impact on the world of work, especially around automation. However, as impressive as AI is, it lacks the nuance, the humanity, and the emotional intelligence that people bring to their communication. And like any new employee, you have to train it to have your tone of voice. Joining us today to tell us more about how to better use AI, in particular ChatGPT, is Leanne Shelton, who is the founder of Human Edge AI Training. With over 10 years of experience as a copywriter and a fearless pivot into the world of AI, Leanne has mastered the art of using AI tools while staying human-centric. The integration of AI into your everyday life just isn't a trend, it is a necessity. Leanne shares with us how you can train the AI to reflect your voice, to streamline your tasks, and enhance your team's creative and strategic output. Once you have trained the AI, then you can use it to write your communications, engage with customers, and create marketing strategies. And if you're a leader, even write your thought leadership articles. Leanne shares many tips on how we can better engage with the AI in our businesses. This is an insightful and thought-provoking conversation about how to get the best engagement from the AI that we are using in our business. Please enjoy this fascinating conversation with Leanne Shelton. Good morning, Leanne. Welcome to Future Fit Leadership. So wonderful to have you on the podcast. How are you today?
Go well. Thanks so much for having me.
So I want to talk to you about all things ChatGPT, which I'm really excited about. But before we go into that, I want to talk to you about your life before this, because for almost 10 years, you were a copywriter before you made the switch. So tell me about that world that you worked in before you decided to make the switch.
Yeah, well, I've always been a writer since I was a kid. Like that's been my number one skill. So I knew that I wanted to have a business one day that would be something that complemented my skills that would help others. And I started my business basically when my eldest was 1 year old. I was sick of working part-time but having full-time work crammed into it, and I thought, okay, what if I can use my writing skills to help people with their website content, with their article writing and everything like that. And the business grew, it was thriving, hit that 6-figure point. I had an agency, had multiple subcontractors writing for me. And then it started to, ease off a few years ago, economic climate, post-COVID, all of that. But then it got to a point where I realized, hang on, things aren't converting anymore. I'm losing my retainers. And it was because ChatGPT had entered the scene. And I know that it was an issue because why would people pay 3,000, 5,000 for website copy or just even $500 for an article when there was this free shiny tool that could do it for them? And it was this situation, I had a moment of a freak out, but I realized if I can't beat them, join them, because AI is here to stay. And prompt engineering is ultimately all about words. And I'm a words person. So I thought, okay, there's got to be an opportunity here for that. And I asked a group, I was in a get it done networking session, and I just asked fellow business women, what do you think about me putting together a webinar on how to use ChatGPT and still sound human? And everyone was like, yes, that would be amazing, because they didn't want to sound robotic and they were freaking out about it. And so I put on this webinar. I gave myself a month to teach myself prompt engineering and listen to podcasts and read one book about it. And yeah, I had 150 people sign up to it. And it made me realize, okay, I'm onto something here. There's a need. And then the rest of 2023 became this. I was constantly headhunted for like speaking at conferences, running workshops, going to summits. And I was featured in the Australian ABC News, and people saw the need in my background as a writer, a non-techie person coming to this space and helping other people out. And so then I made it official in 2024. I created the brand Human Edge AI Training. And I honestly, this has become my number one passion now. I'm absolutely loving this space and helping people get over that overwhelm of AI and keeping it human. So all that copywriting experience has come in handy, and marketing experience, to now teach people on how to ensure quality output, not just focusing on the input.
That is amazing. And congratulations to you, because it's not actually easy to move into the world of AI. I mean, I remember when ChatGPT first came out, and I think I spent half the night on there putting all these prompts in, going, oh my God, this is just amazing. I can ask it anything and it will just spit out stuff to me. This is going to change the world as such. But then, after a while, you do start to realize that the way it talks to you isn't really human. And you do need to be quite clever in how you ask the questions around it. I'm interested, when you made the switch from, pure copywriting into this AI world. I've read that you were diagnosed with ADHD last year, and you say that it may have helped you pivot into the world of AI. How do you think that worked for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the ADHD thing, I've always seen it more as a superpower. Like, often
Love that.
people have said to me over the years, how do you do it all? Because I'm quite often doing multiple things. In my personal life, I have two kids, and I'm a dancer, I'm dancing, and I'm also doing this thing and that thing. And I had a meetup, and I had a podcast, and people have always asked, just how do I make it work? And I'm like, well, it just works for me, because my brain is just constantly going, and I just know how to work on this thing and then switch my brain off on that, work on the next thing. And yeah, when I love it, I can just make it work. And so I think it worked in my favor with AI, because I was like, oh, this is something new and exciting. And, that shiny object syndrome was like, oh, okay. And so it gave me, I guess, the energy to give it a crack and to experiment with it and think outside the box with it, rather than going, oh no, this is the way things have always been. I've always been challenging myself and going outside my comfort zone, because that's fun for me with my brain. And so this was something that was fun. But I've also been very mindful with the AI space, because there are constantly AI tools coming out, all fun, shiny things. I've actually had to be very cautious of not getting sucked into that rabbit hole of playing around with tools and going, no, focus on what's really important here. Really, let's focus on prompt engineering, focus on the basics. I occasionally play with another tool, but I know what parts of my business I love doing, that are fun for me. I don't want to automate those. I don't want to hand those over to AI. So I'm happy to hand over the boring things to AI. But yeah, I think it's actually helped me with just going with the times and not freaking out too much.
You make really good points you've made there, which is you can't outsource everything to ChatGPT or whatever else you're using. And there is enormous AI overwhelm in the marketplace at the moment, because it just seems like every day there's a new product coming out that's going to help you, do everything for you. And we do have to be really picky and choosy. And then when we choose one, we've got to stick to it, don't we?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I say that we've got a choice right now. Like there's still so many people freaking out because basically the sky's the limit. Like if you can imagine it with AI, it can probably happen, right? And so that's where a lot of people are freaking out, going, "Oh, I won't even have a job, and I won't have this." And the thing is isn't the first time a new technology has come in to the world. People freaked out over electricity at one point. So think about it that way. We have a choice of how we embrace it. So this book I'm writing at the moment, it's very much of like AI versus humanity. And sometimes it sounds like I'm the anti-AI coach, but it really doesn't come back to you as a human and keeping yourself at the forefront and not getting caught up in the hype of what it could do for the sake of productivity. And this is the words productivity and saving money are just thrown around so much with AI that like so many people are forgetting about the whole point of being a business. And that's to serve people. It's not to save you time. And it's fine if it saves you time if you're then putting more time into building relationships with your clients or your team. But if you're just replacing yourselves for the sake of making more money for productivity, you've completely lost the point.
Lost the
And that's what a
point.
lot of people are getting caught up in, unfortunately.
Let's talk about marketing. How do you see AI transforming marketing in the next few years?
Yeah, well, I think definitely those who have experience in marketing and copywriting can really use these tools to amplify our experience and expertise. I don't like it when I hear about copywriting teams being sacked or AI replacing marketing roles or whatever, because unless you understand what quality output looks like, then you're just handing over your soul to the bots and trusting that whoever's pre-trained these things have trained them correctly. But everyone's business is different. And so the thing with marketing, I guess, you've got to think about, like I tell everyone to treat AI tools like it's a junior assistant or an intern, like a human. And if you treat it like that, you need to go through an onboarding process. So, especially with marketing projects, you need to teach it your business background, what you stand for, your mission, your vision, your values. You need to teach it your brand voice, which is so key for marketing because anytime you put anything out there externally, emails, newsletters, articles, website copy, it needs to sound like your brand. It can't sound like the lifeless generic content we're seeing flooding, our screens every day. You need to still stand out. And also you've got to train up on your audience, because what's the point in putting all these messages out there if they don't actually land and they don't actually convert? So I say you've got to do that whole onboarding process with your tool.
It sounds like you're onboarding a new employee.
100%. And that's how you have to see it. Because if you had a new employee come in day one and you're going, "Hey, welcome. Can you now create this business strategy, this plan, this marketing strategy, this social media plan, these social media posts, these articles?" What are you going to get? It's the whole garbage in, garbage out. They're going to go, "Yes. Oh, okay. I want to please you. It's my first day on the job. Okay. I know how to use the internet. I'm sure I can find the answers." But they'll have no context whatsoever. So you wouldn't do that with a human. So why are people doing it with their bots? They're taking shortcuts, right? So you need to treat it like a human and go, "Okay, here's what you need to know. Now let's create the strategies, because you know what I stand for. You know who I'm speaking to. You know how I speak." Basically, if you're using AI, no one should be able to tell. You should, I mean, I don't know if you're the same. I can tell 100% if someone's used AI for their social media posts or their articles. And what it does is straight away they lose no like and trust from me. Like I'm like, yeah, no, AI's just written that. If that's meant to be a thought leadership piece, I don't know if you even came up with that. It could be purely AI. I don't think you've done anything there. So are you actually an expert?
So,
And this is affecting brands.
so how do I let's use my podcast as an example.
Yeah.
And I'm notorious for just barking orders at ChatGPT because I like for the fun of it. I kind of go, tell me something, and it comes up, and you kind of go, well, that's not all right. But if we were to train it to have a voice for the podcast as an example, Future Fit Leadership. So our audience are directors, CEOs, board chairs, board members, emerging leaders. Would you then say to ChatGPT, write me a podcast blurb, and my audience is leaders, emerging leaders, blah, 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 blah. And the podcast is with Leanne Shelton, who is the founder of Human Edge AI training. Would I actually give it that much detail?
Yes, 100%.
Right.
Yes, give it as much as you can because it needs to have that context. So you can try it, all listeners, you can try this at home. If you put into ChatGPT, write an article on this, right? See what it gives you. Then say, please rewrite in a professional tone. Thank you. Please rewrite this in a professional and conversational tone. Now, please write this in a professional, conversational, and quirky tone. Just an example. And you'll see how it changes just from changing that one, a couple of words in the prompt. And then that's without giving an audience. Then if you say, now rewrite with these leaders in mind, C-suite, business executives, everything, you'll see how it shifts again, because the examples it uses, how it says things, how it refers to things, that is all going to change because it knows who it's speaking to. And if you then say, oh, can you now rewrite this again to speak to high school students, it's going to change it again. And this is what a lot of people don't realize, but this is what's going to set you apart if you do this for your marketing to ensure it lands. And so if you actually don't know what your brand voice is, so for you, you can get transcripts of podcasts, how you've spoken, you can get articles that you've written, LinkedIn posts you've written, and you can actually put in a prompt as part of the onboarding process. Here are some samples of my brand voice. I want you to do an analysis of this and tell me what my writing style is. Please remember this going forward. Something along those lines. There's no exact prompts. They're not maths equations. You really just need to think about what you want from it and then ask accordingly. And then it might say, oh yeah, you're professional, you're approachable. It'll give you a whole bunch of things like that. And then you can test it out and say, okay, now please write me this blurb to promote a podcast, speaking to these people, and then see if it sounds like you. And then this is where you can start to train it. Okay, well, actually, I don't use that word. Please never use that word or that word. And this is how you can eliminate some of the well-known AI words now, like unlock and unleash and elevate and delve. And I like the word delve, but you can actually train it up. Never use those words. I like these words instead. And after amount of time, like mine, after almost 2 years of using ChatGPT, works, by the way, same Copilot, Gemini, all the same. Mine, I can now say, can you write me this article? Here are some other samples of my articles. I want you to use these as resources. Please write the article for me in my brand voice. And it's 80, 90% there. I just have to make minor tweaks. It sounds like me, and no one will have any idea that AI wrote most of it.
So those of us listening to this going, we have been doing this all wrong all this time. We've been doing it all wrong. Not that I use ChatGPT a lot to write my stuff, but I'm fascinated because, I do so many podcasts and I actually then have to write the blurb and the intro and the LinkedIn posts and the Instagram posts. And you quite often wonder, could I get ChatGPT to do it for me? And then the few times where I have asked it to do it for me, it's just rubbish. And so you kind of go, well, no, but that's because I haven't actually trained it to do it. And now
most people don't know this. Most don't know this. And it's just like basic, just prompt. It literally could take you half an hour to do this whole training process. And then it's just going to change the quality of your work significantly straight away.
So you're almost talking about some core principles around that human touch piece, isn't it? So if you are going to, whichever product you're using, you almost have to map out and plan what your tone, your voice, the human touch elements are going to look like, and then train the AI to actually understand that. So every time you ask it something, it's going to go back to those key elements that are unique to you. Am I right in sort of what you've just summarized there?
Yeah. So basically all your style guides that are, attracting dust on your in your online folders, bring that out, because the things as well with the brand voice you may think your business is, AI might not see it the same way. So you can say, here's what our brand voice is. Could you please write a sample piece in this brand voice? And then you might need to tweak it accordingly and go, okay, can you now provide a new brand voice based on what I've now talked through? And then, yeah, share that with your team and say, this is what our brand voice is now. I highly recommend, yeah, getting the whole team together. You can have an AI session on this. Go, okay, we're now going to sit down. We're all going to train our tools to understand the company's brand voice. So we're all being consistent, because that's the thing as well. You can say professional and conversational, but what I think is professional and conversational is different to the next person. So if you've got AI to help you with this, then you can actually streamline all communications from the customer service emails through to the marketing, through to annual reports, can streamline it after you've trained it up. So this is the really key part, ensuring you have the humans of your team driving the tools, not finding ways to get AI to replace them in the day-to-day stuff.
If you're a new business coming to market, and a lot of young women are starting up businesses today, and really not just women, but anyone is, can you actually train ChatGPT or another AI product to create a brand voice for you? Can you actually, so it's the other way around, go into it and say, this is who I am, this is my audience.
Yes.
This is what I would like it to sound. So it actually comes up with a brand strategy for you?
Correct. So you can say, what would be a type of voice that would resonate with these people, with these pain points from this country, from, this background, 100%. So with the understand the customers, you could even do if you haven't come up with a customer persona because you're a brand new business, you can say, I'd like you to help me come up with 3 customer personas who would be perfect for my business that does XYZ. And you've already given that information. And you can say, what kind of information do you need from me? And what it'll give you is like a whole bunch of questions in terms of age, demographic, pain points. You might have some of these answers, some you may not, but fill it out to the best of your ability and then ask it to create a customer persona. And then you could then afterwards say, all right, based on everything you know about my business and my customers, what would be a brand voice that would resonate? What kind of tones and what kind of messages should I say? And just kind of play with it like that. And then as you go, I mean, you can give it samples of stuff you've written if you like sounds like you, or find samples of other brands that you like. I kind of like this vibe. Can you kind of tell me what this vibe is? I don't want you to copy anyone's brand voice because you want to have your own, but that's the kind of thing you can do until you've got something that feels normal and you're comfortable with, and then you know it's going to work. And then you test it.
Yeah. How can leaders in organizations use ChatGPT, particularly around the customer engagement piece?
I mean, there's so many ways. I mean, there's things like from chatbots with, training them up to know everything about your business and your brand voice and everything like that. And obviously that's great for initial contact with clients or potential customers. The most important part, if you are using a chatbot, is to make it easy to speak to a human, because there's nothing more frustrating than going around in circles and you're like, I know this is a unique question. You're not going to have it in your FAQs. Please just give me to a human. So definitely keep phone numbers and email addresses on your website, even if you have chatbots. I mean, there's also a fun thing that people are playing around with at the moment, which is like sales bots making cold calls. I'm not a major fan of this because I hate it when human telemarketers call me out of the blue. Why do I want a bot to do it? It might be a cool thing initially, but it's going to grow old very quickly. So definitely be wary of, oh, look how much time I can save. These things do 1,000 calls in a second.
And I'm just jumping in there for a second. I've heard these. Like I've sat in meeting rooms where I've heard, hi, this is Sadhna. I'm Leanne's virtual assistant, and I'm calling you to talk to you about this product that we have. And this is the voice that, the bot AI uses. And I kind of sit there and I think, I'd hang up on that if they rang me.
Yeah, I'm not interested. I want to speak to a human. And if I'm not going to be interested, I think the whole cold calling thing needs to change anyway. That's a whole other conversation. But it's the whole thing with same with articles, right? If you're just getting AI to pump them out, and I can tell that it's AI generated because it's so lifeless. It's the whole thing. If you haven't put the effort into writing it, why should I put the effort into reading it? The same with, if you haven't put the effort into a human calling me, why should I put the effort into listening to what you have to say? You've called me out of the blue. I don't know who you are. I think it's fine to have sales bots calling you to clarify information, or if you call up to say, hey, I want to update my address, and you just talk to a bot to do something basic like that, no worries. Okay. But this is where the whole productivity thing you've got to be very mindful of. But I think good ways to use AI, like in terms of customer emails, if you do have a long email from a complaint, or it's just a complicated situation and you get very emotionally charged, you could ask AI to help you out with a good response that's going to remove the emotion, end up with the outcome you want. So you can say, yeah, look, here's the email I received. I want to actually have this desired outcome. I want to be nurturing and supportive, but explain X, Y, Z. Can you please draft this for me? And then you always need to reread over it and make sure that the brand voice is still there. It has actually listened to you. It's hit the mark. Don't ever, there's some ads at the moment for some big brands, I won't name them, that are all like, oh, look, you can just do this and AI can do it for you, and off you go, and don't even look at it. Please make sure you're looking at it. And yeah, so articles as well, thought leadership articles, you can work with the tools to come up with ideas for you, to create outlines. You then take over. You use that dopamine hit of, oh, look what it's giving me. And rather than publishing it straight away, go, oh, okay, this is going to fuel my creativity and critical thinking. And then you run with it and the human takes over.
Just the thought around that, if you were to, and this is interesting because you might not have the answer, but I'll ask it anyway, like in a publishing world, you're writing a book at the moment, right? Which is being published next year. How do publishers know that you actually haven't used ChatGPT to write that whole book? Because that's an interesting world, right? Anyone can be an author now. Just like when Twitter came out, now known as X, everyone could become a journo because it was that instant, right? So how do publishers know that you haven't done this whole thing on ChatGPT?
Yeah, well, this is the concern. And I know Amazon has got this whole process of reviewing content and actually picking up if it's AI generated, you're getting knocked back actually if you're being self-published. Look, I know publishers, they're going to become very savvy. We're all developing the sixth sense for AI generated content. The thing is, because it's very surface level, it doesn't go deep enough. Like there's not enough layers to it. And so the book I'm writing, for example, I have had people say, oh, are you just going to get AI to write it for you? And I'm like, no. Well, I'm a writer first. I actually want to write this book. I don't want to just hand it over to this bot to just write this stuff that doesn't resonate with me whatsoever. I am actually having a chapter at the end of the book that says how AI helped me write this book for full transparency. And I'm already dumping in examples of when I asked it to help me come up with chapter outlines. No worries with that. I basically said to it, I've had, there's probably like 30 different keynotes that I've done or workshops. So I've bedded all those notes and said, can you help me come up with some chapter outlines based on this theme that I'm talking about? And then it gave me a chapter outline. But later, like a week later, I reviewed it. So initially I'm like, this is amazing. A week later, I'm like, those two chapters sound very similar.
Sound the same.
Just worded slightly differently, but really the same thing. And actually, it's told me to cram ethics, IP, and cybersecurity in one chapter, but they really need to be 3 separate chapters. So this is my critical thinking coming out. And because I'm a writer, I know what good flow looks like. I know how a good book should go and flow and what should go into a chapter and how to I'm a big reader as well. What would resonate with a reader. So I know how to use AI to work for me, not instead of me. And I know so many people cutting, shortcuts. Oh, I just wrote this book and most of it was AI. How good am I? No, like
people will find out, won't they? And they'll find out really quickly.
They'll see right through you, like I was saying earlier, and you're just going to lose any sense of leadership,
lose the audience,
authority. Yeah.
Are there any businesses that you've seen in your experience in the work that you're doing where they are using AI really, really successfully in their business, their integration with their customers, their people? Are there examples in the marketplace that you know of that you can share with us where they're doing it really well?
I can't say for sure because really I shouldn't be able to tell if they are using it really well, right? I shouldn't be able to tell. But what I'm seeing out there, I can tell it's AI generated stuff. And so I straight away put this critical lens on because I'm following a lot of LinkedIn AI enthusiasts on LinkedIn, right? And I'm seeing all these tools promoted. Oh, this tool, I use these 10 tools in my business and it streamlined all their stuff. Now, it sounds like on the surface that they're implementing AI really successfully, but I don't know actually how much money they're making or how well they're connecting with their audience or anything like that. I have no idea. I'm only taking at face value what they're claiming to be really successful. I've dabbled with so many of these tools, not heaps because I've kept my, I've held back with my neurospicy brain. But I played one the other day. I literally seen it promoted as this amazing tool that can, scour your website and then just populate social media posts or reels for you or whatever it was, right? And I'm like, okay. I was literally running a team workshop. I said to him, I heard about this tool this morning. Let's have a look. It scanned my website, and one of the first images it gave me was, I'm a female, right? It was a male talking, hands out, talking like talking to running a workshop with no head. Literally, the headless facilitator and male. So I'm like, okay, my website is filled with me, photos of me, a female. You've gotten a male, and I have a head, and this doesn't. So straight away, I'm like, so that person who promoted that tool, how good is this tool? Like, I'm not going to use that ever again. And so I'm very wary of those who are constantly saying, check out this tool or check out this prompt. Because the thing is with prompts, like there are no exact prompts. That's a lot of people freaking out going, I've got to work out the exact right prompt. If you treat it like a human and you know what you want, anyone can prompt, anyone can. So there's people saying, try this prompt, try that prompt. You trust them, but the prompt doesn't know your business. It doesn't know your audience. If you don't know the context, you don't know how to fix the output, it's not going to serve you. And this is one of the reasons why I got into this space, because I downloaded one of those 1,000 prompts for $57 in early 2023. And I'm like, but what do I do with this output? How, like, the most people don't even know what quality content looks like if they're not a copywriter or a marketer. So you're just giving this stuff that's just going to result in more generic content. Yeah.
So switching back to the leadership piece, because most of our listeners are leaders and directors and CEOs and board chairs and emerging leaders.
Yeah.
And the thing about leadership is communication, right?
Yep.
And you're having to communicate internally, externally. You're expected to have communication with media, if that's your role, write articles, have thought leadership pieces, all that sort of stuff. What is the best advice you can give leaders on the best way to use something like ChatGPT personally for their leadership style, so they're not having to write all of it from a comms perspective?
Yeah, so it comes into the training process, right? So if and I just got to say this disclaimer: don't upload anything that's overly sensitive, personal data, anything that you don't want the whole world to see. There are tools like Cassidy, which is what I'm playing around with at the moment, which it basically can access your SharePoint folders and your Google Drive of documents. So you don't have to actually upload anything. And so it's all kind of that firewall thing. So it's all secure. So, I mean, look, as a leader, maybe something like Cassidy would serve you, because if you already have all these pieces and all this information and everything saved on your drive and on the cloud, you can technically get to access it and not start from scratch and know where you're coming from. I still have to play around with the tool to work out that quality. And because at the moment, most things I put into ChatGPT aren't overly sensitive, it just knows me so well. So I'm sticking to that one. But yeah, it just comes down to you as a leader. You know what you need to achieve, right? So I need to put out at least 2 thought leadership articles a month or 1 every week, whatever your goal is. I need to put out at least 1 newsletter a month. I need to put out at least 3 social media posts a week. You work out what your strategy is and then basically work backwards from that and go, okay, well, let's now use AI to help me create the strategy around the thought leadership pieces. So you can say, can you come up with some FAQs that I could speak to based on everything you know about me? You go through that list, you pick out your favorites. Then you go, okay, please help me with this article, this outline, tweak it, go take it to a Google Doc or a Word doc, tweak it, paste it back, going, this is the refined outline. Please draft the first paragraph or the intro. You edit it, put it back in. Please, this is what it is now. Please continue the next paragraph. This is literally the process I follow to really get quality output, because it's training itself up on each previous paragraph. And that's how you can create a really good article based on your all your past materials. Like I wrote an article literally yesterday in an hour with AI, from 4 other articles based on similar things, and I made very minor changes, right? So it's not something you can do in 5 minutes, but think about it, without AI, it could take you all day. So it could take
The
2 hours,
research,
not 5 minutes.
the everything, and
Yeah.
sometimes it can take days,
Yeah. So I still want you to research, and if you find reliable articles from industry publications you trust, from government, from industry, whatever, you say, I want you to write this article based on these materials and what you know about me and my materials. And this is where it can really help you create a really great first draft. You review it, you add your own anecdotes, your own case studies. You've got to add the layers to it. The human has to come back into it. But this is what a lot of people don't realize. You can give it information. I actually say that that's better than relying on what's been pre-trained with, because you have no idea where it's come from. And even though now it can give you results like a Google search, it's still in its infancy. I still wouldn't trust it. You can say, give me, provide me sources that would work really well for this article, and they'll give you a link to a 100-page document, not tell you where to look in it. So it's not going to be amazing. You need to still have control over it. So yeah, it just comes down to whatever you need. You think about with your human brain, and then see how the AI tool can help you. Just when you're overwhelmed and exhausted, it helps you get started, and then you take over. Too many people just handing over the whole everything.
The whole process. You can't do that. Yeah. Let's look into the future a little bit. 3 to 5 years from now, a lot of leaders will be using this as a tool that they innately go to it, and they'll understand it completely, and they'll be, almost symbiotically connected to the AI in their businesses for themselves. How do you see leadership qualities playing out in a future where AI dominates so much of the communication?
Oh, yeah. So human relationships are going to just be so important. I think in some ways we're going to have to go back to traditional human face-to-face connection. Like, actually, I had a chat with a cybersecurity guy for my book, and he's like, you won't know at some point if you're having a Zoom meeting with a bot or a human.
Oh God,
and
that's so scary.
Yeah, and that's because people are now, that I don't know why people keep developing this technology to make it happen. Like, I'm not big on the digital avatar thing. I'm not going, look at this cool digital avatar version of me. No, because in the wrong hands, this can go so wrong so quickly, with defamation cases and everything left, right, and center. Like, we're already seeing it with celebrities and the US election, right? So this is a thing we will need to really emphasize that human connection, having human face-to-face meetings, and potentially, if you are having an online meeting, having a code word that you discussed face-to-face, not even on the phone. And it'd be a bit of like a spy espionage thing, going, oh, what's that word we talked about 2 weeks ago at the coffee shop at that place? And then, especially if you're doing big deals and having life-changing conversations or massive financial conversations, it really is going to come back to humans. So, it's fine to have AI take over all the mundane stuff, as long as all that spare time you have now found, you are actually connecting with humans better. Because otherwise, what's the point? And actually, I'm saying this in my book, and I say it to a lot of people too. We forget only a few short years ago what it was like to be during COVID, when we weren't allowed to connect with other people face to face. We all craved it. Even the introverts wanted to do a FaceTime from time to time with a real human. And it's so ironic that only a few short years later, people are purposely creating bots or using bots to reply to bots on LinkedIn. I'm saying, like, you get a bot to write your post, and then your bot replies to, it's like, why are we doing this to ourselves? So we have to choose. We have a choice right now how the future looks. We can basically let the AI take over and feed into this hype, or we go, okay, I want to use it for this and this, the rest I'm going to do, or this I want the humans to do.
Because there's a lot of ethical dilemmas. Like, while you've been talking, I'm thinking to myself, there's a lot of ethical dilemmas that we need to be careful of. And I don't want an avatar of myself out there. How do I stop that though?
You can't. And that's the problem. Like, especially I've been that many podcasts and that many, YouTube videos or whatever. It'd be very easy to grab my voice and do that. And that's why it's happening already with celebrities. You can't stop it. And we're waiting for, like the Australian government to come up with some proper guardrails around that and what the repercussions could be if that does happen to those who've done it. All we can do is ensure, like, as a leader, develop an AI policy, which is how to be fully transparent with your clients, with your team, how we use AI, when we don't use it, when the humans step in. One I've read that's amazing. It's the CNET AI policy. Just look it up. It's because they're all about publications, and they're like, no, while we may use AI tools to help us, there's always a human reviewing it, and this is what we want to make sure of. If enough of us are doing the right thing, hopefully it's only going to be in the very minority that people will do the wrong thing. But we need to be aware and just, not just get caught up in the hype too much.
Fun but scary, Leanne. Fun but scary.
It can be, but we can't let ourselves.
You can't ignore
it,
right? Yeah,
you can't get ignored. You
Yeah.
can't ignore it. You can't let yourself get scared and overwhelmed and just dig your head in the sand either. Like, it's just a matter of working smarter, really. Just don't, like, I've taken off Facebook and Instagram off my phone a few months ago, and straight away I've got this clarity that I didn't before. If you're constantly just listening to AI, thinking I've got to do it, you forget what's important. The humans doing it for you, not selling your soul to bots for the sake of saving time. I mean, you think about how many inventions have come up over the decades to save time, and we're still busy and don't have enough time.
I think you're right. I mean, I know it's interesting how behaviors change, right? Because you're right about the phone. And I can often find myself getting sucked into scrolling through Instagram at night when I go to bed. And I've just recently had a grandchild. And so, you're looking at some baby stuff. And so every single theme on my Instagram feed is about babies. And then I find myself buying stuff, which is, and so now I'm a bit like you. I'm like, no, over Christmas, I'm actually going to get rid of everything, and I'm going to go back to reading a book, and I'm going to go back to having a different wind down process as opposed to scrolling through Instagram, because I've just noticed a change in the way I'm interacting with it in the last few months, particularly after the grandchild's been born, because, you want to spoil it and buy everything and be over the top with it. But it sucks you into a whole different world.
Yeah, it does. And so that's why this is part of what my book's all about, right? I just want everyone to take a step back. I've also been doing meditation. I'm like 100 days in a daily meditation, just taking a step back and breathing and going, okay, how should I use AI? How shouldn't I use AI? Who should I listen and who shouldn't I listen to? And that's just to take that moment to breathe. And definitely, as well as leaders, don't feel like you have to make all the decisions. You get a team around you and make sure everyone's, or even if you are, a solopreneur, speak to other business owners like yourself and just say, how are you using AI? How is it actually serving you? And then make that proactive choice, like just how you do want to use it. Don't feel like you have to use it for the sake of using it. And I've felt like I'm an AI person. Should I be actually using it a lot more than I am? Like, I feel like a fraud sometimes, that imposter syndrome. But I just come back to, no, my audience are those who are overwhelmed, who need to understand the basics. And I want to serve those people. I don't want to get caught up in all the AI tools like the other AI people. I want to break through the noise and basically tell everyone they're there. We're going to be okay.
Yeah. So your book, it's out next year. Are you covering a lot of this AI conversation that we've had in your book, and plus, I'm assuming, a lot more?
Yes. Yeah. So definitely I've kind of got 3 sections to it, all about the mindset part, which is a lot about this human connection, relationships, cybersecurity, ethics, and IP, and also a bit about the prompt engineering, how to do it properly, and then like planning like for the future and ensuring how to get your team on board with tips and tricks and everything like that. So yeah, it's in the works at the moment, but so far it's coming together really nicely. I'm getting really good feedback from my beta readers. So yeah, stay tuned for that.
Great. So they want to follow you on LinkedIn to find out when the book is released, because I'm sure I will be. I know I will be. That's probably the best way to do it.
Yes, because it's probably going to be like May next year, because I do have a publisher, interested, and it's all happening there. So it'll be May next year. Yeah, follow me on LinkedIn. I will have links if it's not quite, I don't know if it's there yet, but I'll make sure there's a link in my LinkedIn profile of how you can sign up to the wait list so you can keep across it.
So Leanne, if I needed you to come into my business and train me and my team on how to best use the AI in my environment, do you offer those services?
Yes. So whether it's just you, I do one-on-one training, which works really well in a 3-hour session. We cover everything from the onboarding process, like I talked about, through to actually tackling a project or two, whatever we can do in 3 hours. And everyone's getting really great value from that. Or if you have a team, we can either do the same process as a team over 3 hours or a half day, full day, or even a 2-month program, which I'm just about to complete with my first client. And that's all about really integrating it into your day-to-day business. So happy to help with that. Really good for getting everyone from the early adopters and innovators through to those digging their head in the sand all on the same page.
Leanne, I think I'll be signing up to your 3-hour session when we finish this podcast. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me. It's a fascinating, interesting, scary, but a world we are definitely moving into and can't run away from. And thank you for sharing some insights around how we can better use the AI in our world.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
If you like what you've heard, please share, rate, and review this podcast. And don't forget to share it with anyone who might benefit from hearing it. The producer of Future Fit Leadership is Maritza Barone from Guide Your Light Network. If you would like to reach out to me, please DM me on any of my social media platforms. I'm available for speaking at conferences or consulting to your business. Future Fit is created in partnership with Future Leadership, a capability ecosystem for boards and executives. If you'd like to join the community and receive a free takeaway each week, sign up to the Future Exchange app in my show notes. Thank you for having me in your space. This is a Guide Your Light Network production, creating podcasts with purpose.